Hey, and welcome back to the channel. I'm Glycogen Cycling, and today we are doing a race views on Gateway Cup 2018 Day 3. So this is in the Hill neighborhood. The race is called the Giro della Montagna, I believe. And this race was all right. Again, there was another crash with going into one lap to go. So it was not the best ending, because I was in the right spot, just, you know, bad luck. So again, we're gonna always start these race views with a full lap. So this race, this section of the course was the most bumpy section with the most rough pavement, I'd say. But you're only on it for such a short period that it doesn't really matter. And that turn, I'll get back to that in a second, but that's one of the sketchiest turns of the course, I'd say. And that's just because consistently guys just slide out on that corner for whatever reason. I think it's just at a weird angle that they, you know, you think you can pedal through it, but you really can't, and then you clip your pedal and it just doesn't work out well. So this course, you know, it has a hill. We have a couple moves going off the front early, and you know, nothing really accumulated and stuck, which was the story of all these, you know, the first 3 days of this race. And, you know, this hill wasn't too bad, but you'll see later that guys just end up sitting up and you end up getting swarmed if you're not in the right spot and not ready for that. So again, going through turn 3 now, and this course is super important to stay in the front just because those corners are kind of tight, and if you're not at the front, you're going to end up having to brake in the back and then have to sprint out of it. So it's really not fun to be in the back. You use a lot less energy if you're in the front of the race. And a couple times in this race, I was too far back and, you know, had to use other people to move up. And really in crits, you should know if you're not moving up, you're moving back. So again, here I'm just making up one or two spots, you know, just following the wheels in front of me. But you'll see guys on the left are trying to move up that way. So it really, you have to always be cognizant of that and move up when you can. So you can see, if you listen here, that guy on my right just slides out into the fence. So I knew from the beginning that I wanted to be on the inside on that corner. And funny story about that corner, a couple years back, my teammate was in this race and he took that corner on the outside on the last lap, and there was a crash, and the guy slid into his wheel and he ends up winning the race. Later that day, we find out that he has a hole about the size of a baseball in the side of his carbon wheel, and he won the race on that. Like, it was insane. But again, here I'm at the front, but guys are sitting up on this hill, so guys from the back are using their momentum because they have to basically sprint out of that turn 2, and they're using their momentum to move up on the left side, which, you know, if you're in the front, you're going to get pushed back just simply because guys are coming from your left. So here's a little overshot of the race. This was of the pro race, but you can see just, you know, how long the straightaways are and how, you know, short the top and bottom of the course are. And then coming down this front stretch, you know, I have a little hill. It wasn't too windy today, so, you know, your position on the left or the right side didn't matter too much. But again, guys are sitting up on this hill, so I'm just using this opportunity to move up on the outside of turn 3. In turn 3, it was really important to be on the outside because you could just hold way more speed, and guys were just leaving the right side open, so you could kind of just move up without using too much power, which is why I was in the position I was. And again, I saw these two guys, this guy in front of me and there's one behind him, teammates. So when you see that in a race, you kind of want to realize that they might be moving up if you're kind of far back. So they're going to work for each other. So you can usually just hop on that. And I didn't get on the wheel as much as I wanted to, but I knew they were gonna, you know, pave the way for me so that I could just basically get a free ride, make up about 20 spots, and I'm fairly happy with my positioning right now with, you know, a couple laps to go. So again, you see those inside turns, you have to put out a lot of power. And again, I'm a little further back at this point, but you'll see up ahead, the guys end up just sitting up on the hill. And you can tell that based on, you know, we're real strung out right now in a single file line. But then up ahead, you're gonna see guys just spread out across the road, which means they just sit up. So I'm gonna use my momentum and just make up some spots right here and take me to the front without using too much power or energy. And there's a couple moves going, so I kind of just sit up. I don't want to go with it. I don't think a breakaway is going to stick. So just let a couple guys pass me, and now I'm in a fairly good spot. But again, still going too slow, so there's guys coming up on the left side. And again, I take turn 3 on the outside because I don't have to hold that much watts. And there's all this room on the right side, so you know, I use that later to my advantage. And, you know, it's just fairly easy to make up spots because guys didn't go too hard through that, you know, between turn 3 and 4. And again, downhill, saw the flag a couple moments ago. We have a slight downhill crosswind, and at this point I told that guy to go. He should have held that wheel for some reason, but he didn't, so I end up having to close this gap, and which was fine, but just didn't really make sense why he didn't want to close that gap since he was on that wheel. He was probably dying or something, I don't know. And again, guys sitting up on this uphill section. We have 4 laps to go, so try to just use as much momentum as I can. I see this guy on my right side is trying to move up too, so I just hop on his wheel a bit, and then we kind of get boxed in. So, you know, you can only move up so much at each point, but the trick is to just hold it once you get there, which I didn't do such a great job of, but I was up at the front at the end of the race, which is what mattered. And again, look at all this space on the right side of the road. We have like 2 or 3 bike lengths, so I'm just making up like, you know, 10 spots right there at 0 watts pretty much. So that's why I was always like trying to take out that on the outside, because I just could hold so much more speed, make up so much more spots without using energy, which is what you want to do in the race. And on the front stretch here, the best spot to move up was on this left side, the inside of the course. Guys would always hold the right side because the left-hand turns, so they want to take it at the apex, and that left the left side open. So you'll see here, I had to take it on the inside, that turn 3, and I had to make a big dig to get back up to speed out of that turn. And this was with, you know, 3 laps to go, or 2 laps to go. And basically, I wanted to be on the outside because I could hold more speed. So again, a little further back than I wanted to be going into, you know, this is the second to last lap. And, you know, I'm staying on the outside because that's where I was having the most success, which may not be the safest option. But again, I get kicked out a little bit there, and I'm kind of too far back at this point. But again, this whole right side is open. There was a little divot right there with the, you know, manhole, not the manhole, but the sewer grate. So after that, I'm able to move up easily. And then we had this massive pile up, guys going over their handlebars, and it was just insane, man. Basically, it was, you know, a guy just slid out and he, you know, took out the whole front 10 guys basically. So you can see right here, we're going into this turn, you know, 5 wide. which may be a little sketchy. I probably should have just stayed behind this guy in the black and orange a bit. But if we move forward a bit, I kind of moved back a little bit behind him, so we're not going through 5 wide, because the road's not that wide where there's enough room for all of us. So I sit back a little bit, wait for him to go, and from this point, it looks like everyone's going to make it around pretty much safely. But some guy slides out, and you'll notice up ahead, there's like, maybe 2 guys that make it past. And so a couple guys go down. We're going through this turn, fairly quickly. And you can't really change your line anywhere, or at least I couldn't at this point, because if everyone's sliding out to the outside, so the only way I can really go is to the inside. But at this speed, if I chop my line that much, I'm either going to take guys out behind me, or I'm not going to be able to make that. So the only option I have is to try to stop and or just limit the damage as much as possible. And you'll notice this guy on the left side he's doing like a front wheelie or a nollie or whatever you want to call it to avoid this crash, which is pretty crazy. And then if we skip forward a little bit more, this guy in the, with the Easton wheels, I didn't know people use Easton wheels still, but we have guys going into the fence. We have this guy on my right side trying to stay upright. We have the guy in front of me, and luckily I'm able to stop at this point. But this guy on the left with the Easton wheels totally hits this guy in the back and flies over his handlebars, and totally, this is why you can check out my vlog. I called it the Spider-Man kiss, because my friend Jake made this joke when we were watching this video, because it really does look like that, like the Spider-Man guy coming down from the building and giving Mary Jane the kiss. That's kind of what it looks like, not gonna lie. So he flies over the bars. Got a guy going into the fence. We have another guy, trying to not go into the fence. And then luckily I'm able to stop. I kind of run in the back of this guy's wheel a little bit, but I'm able to end up, hold myself up by just putting my hand on the bikes, basically crushing the carbon into the cement. No, but pretty much everyone was all right in this crash, which was good. But I had, this guy's bike stuck, his handlebars were stuck underneath my frame. So you can see there's guys, the pack is still passing us, but, there's not really anywhere I can go. I'm just all tangled up, and, at this point they're gone. And I'm just still trying to get my, bike untangled and to get on with the race. But, 1 lap to go, you're not catching back on. So what I could have done differently there was stayed on the inside and then hopefully avoid it. But sometimes there's just nothing you can really do. Like, even if I was on the inside there, I honestly may have ate pavement at that point, because it took out everyone, So, sometimes it's just luck of where you're at. And if I stayed back where I was before that crash, so if we head back a little bit, you can see I was moving up on the right side of the road. And if I stayed back there, honestly, I probably would have been okay and been in a perfect position after this crash. But, that's just not how, you never know what's going to happen. So is what it is. Hope you guys learned something from this video. Hope you guys are able to not crash like me and win a race. So if you like this video, subscribe, and we're going to do some more of these. So hope you guys have been enjoying. Leave a comment down below what your favorite part of this was and what else you want to see me do. I'll be happy to take suggestions. Thanks, guys, and I'll see you in the next one.